Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today I have Burton Kelso, technology expert with me. Welcome, Burton.
Hey Tim, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks so much for taking some time to visit with us today.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
Good deal. Hey, I'm curious. I know that a lot of your work prior to COVID was hands-on out in the field, although I know you did a fair amount of remote as well. Could you just talk a little bit about your company, the services you provide, and what's changed for you since COVID?
So Integral, we've been around for 27 years. So our focus is making technology easier for people. So we provide both on-site and remote tech support for homes and businesses throughout the metropolitan Kansas City area and beyond. On site, we cover about a 100-mile radius going to homes and businesses. And remote, we've got customers all across the United States that we can remote in and take care of their computer issues. So we take care of issues such as wireless networks, setting up new computers, setting up business networks, making sure that people can work remotely, and just making sure that we can take care of any tech tech issue that people are experiencing in today's digital world.
So I'm curious, what has changed? So you've done a lot of remote work, obviously. What has changed, or how significantly have things changed for you since COVID and the stay-at-home orders?
Well, one of the things that's changed is obviously our technicians are wearing N95 respirators when we have to go on on-site visits, and we have to make sure that we are wearing gloves. And most importantly, we have to make sure that our tech devices are properly sanitized as well, because as we all know, COVID-19 virus can live on surfaces for a fairly long time. So it doesn't do us any good if we have clean hands and we're making sure that we are protecting our nose and mouth if we have dirty tech devices. So we make sure that we disinfect our smartphones, our tablets, and even our laptop computers when we're out in the field visiting customers.
What kind of questions have, even though you're taking those precautions, have customers been wary about having you or your technicians come into their homes? And has it generated more possibly drop-off business, or you picking up equipment to work on?
Well, we've had many customers that have been apprehensive as far as having a technician out. Either A, obviously don't want to catch the virus from one of our techs, or B, they're working in an environment where they just don't want anyone in it. Like if it's a business and they've got a skeleton crew, obviously they don't want that crew infected. So there has been apprehension as far as sending a technician on site, and the customer would prefer to have someone work remotely on their equipment rather than having someone show up.
Yeah, makes total sense. I'm curious about a couple of other things. What challenges have you seen for folks who aren't used to working at home? You know, now I've been working out of my home office for years, so my technology is pretty well set up. But I imagine you're dealing with a lot of folks who this is a new experience for them. I'd be interested in hearing you talk about that a bit.
Well, one of the key things, Tim, is internet. People sometimes utilize internet just for entertainment purposes when they're at home. But if now that you're first forced working from home, having to deal with internet on a regular basis has been a challenge. People who thought that they had decent internet and find out that they're not able to stream video or even to log into the office computer has been a big challenge. So before going to work from home, people always obviously need to make sure that they have a strong internet service. So it may come to the time that they need to go to speedtest.net to check their internet speeds to see if they're getting what's considered high internet speed, which is 30 megabits per second or faster in order to stream video or to collaborate with other coworkers. Equipment may be a problem too. You're used to using your office computer, which was a robust Windows or a Macintosh computer, to come home to use something that's not able to handle it. So people have had to make upgrades or clean up that home computer so that it could be used as an office computer. And then finally, a lot of the cyber threats that maybe your office IT company has helped you deal with or that they've sheltered you from, now you have to deal with those threats and have to educate yourself how to keep your home computer safe from the various cyber threats that are out there.
So in addition to actually helping folks with with the hardware and the software that will protect them and get them up to speed? And do you also provide coaching slash training for folks who find themselves in that new situation?
We definitely do. And Tim, it's important to understand that when it comes to cybercrime, 99% of cybercrime requires user interaction. So when you hear about companies that are getting hacked or individuals that are getting hacked, 9 times out of 10, it's a situation where they inadvertently clicked on a link or they responded to a spam email or a phishing email where they gave out information to what they thought was a reliable source, but in turn was an actual cyber criminal. So much of the work that we do is education, because realistically, the best antivirus and the best cyber security tool out there is education. So if you have informed users who are able to make the right steps as far as protecting themselves, they're going to lessen their chances that they're going to get a virus or accidentally give out personal or business information to a scammer out there.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I've noticed over the last several years, I guess, that scammers are getting more and more sophisticated. It used to be that you could recognize a phishing email instantly. Now I tell you what, they've got some pretty good graphic designers out there, some pretty smart folks who can make an email look pretty legitimate.
Yeah, and then if you're evolving to a work at home strategy, you're dealing with personal emails and you're dealing with work emails too, and there's enough distractions at home so that maybe you're not paying attention to emails like you really should. So with the distractions at home, you still have to be cognizant of what emails are coming into your inbox and to make sure that you identify what's a legitimate email versus what's a spam email. So cybercrime has really picked up in this whole COVID-19 crisis. So I would caution anyone watching that you need to make sure that you are keeping an eye on the phishing emails that are coming in to make sure that you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, fantastic. Good advice. Burton, I'm curious, are there some tech tools that folks who find themselves newly working from home can take advantage of to make their lives easier?
Yes, there is. One of the things that you want to do when you implement your work at home strategy is to make sure that you're automatically backing up your information on a regular basis. Now, with you working at home, you can easily install an external hard drive on your Windows computer or your Macintosh computer. Macintosh users can take advantage of Time Machine, which will automatically back up your information. Windows users can utilize file history, which is built into all Windows devices that will automatically back up your information to an external hard drive. But I'm of the mindset that cloud backup would be the best way to back up your information. So services like Backblaze or Carbonite will work on Windows and Macintosh computers, and they back up instantly, and there is redundancy. So they'll store at least 30 days of your information, and that way, if something catastrophic happens, you can go back however many days to retrieve whatever data that was lost on your Windows and Macintosh computer. Now, as far as cybercrime is concerned, the interesting thing about that is that if you have a Macintosh computer, your antivirus software is built in. So if you've got any additional tools installed on your Mac, you can get rid of those and just use the built-in antivirus. Same thing for Windows users. Windows users are always under the myth that they need to get a Norton or Kaspersky or McAfee, but Windows Defender is built into your Windows computer. So if you're using Windows 10 or even Windows 8, Windows Defender does an excellent job as far as making sure it's stopping all of the threats out there. So if you're using a Norton or a McAfee or Kaspersky or any of those tools, you can remove it. They're probably slowing down your computer, and Windows Defender will do that will do the job of making sure that your computer's secure. And at the same time, it's free, it's built in, so take advantage of it.
That makes perfect sense. See, I'm curious too. Is it the case that if you have cloud backup, and you mentioned redundancy, that gives you an additional layer of protection from ransomware?
Exactly. That's a good point that you made that I forgot to mention. Yes, so ransomware, if you get it on your device, whether it be a Windows or Mac, it will not only infect the files on your computer, but it will also go to cloud storage services like Dropbox, iCloud Drive, or OneDrive, and it'll also go to your online backup services. So the problem is if it gets a hold of your cloud storage, like Dropbox or OneDrive, those files are just decimated. But if they go in and infect your cloud backup service like Carbonite or Backblaze, those companies have multiple backups. So if your uh, initial backup is ruined with ransomware, they can go back as far as 30 days to retrieve your files and then get you up and running in a matter of hours.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, well, hey, Burton, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time today to visit with us. Any last words of advice from the technology expert here?
The main thing that you want to focus on is just making sure that your devices are safe and secure, and that you are cognizant of the cyber threats that are going on right now. There's a lot of COVID-19 scams that home users and people working remotely need to be aware of. And so they are taking advantage of this situation. So make sure that you do a Google search, or you can check out the various videos that I have covering this subject, just to make sure that you're aware of what's going on so that you can keep yourself safe.
Fantastic. Burton, thanks again. I really appreciate it.
No problem, Tim. Thank you.
You bet.